Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Inferno Intel. I'm Ryan Blank, joined by Nick Zeller-Singh. Nick, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm happy to return back behind this desk and get this show rolling.
You said it. We have a jam-packed show today filled with baseball, softball, lacrosse, and much more. So let's get this show on the road.
Well, tipping it off, our show is going to start with men's basketball. Our reporter Keith Dottley has more on the Sun Devil squad.
Thanks, Nick. And speaking of the Sun Devils, they will have an all-new look next season, thanks to plenty of activity in the transfer portal after losing Remy Martin, Alonzo Verge, and Kamani Lawrence to graduation. Bobby Hurley and company have found out that multiple key players have decided to enter the transfer portal and depart from ASU. Among these being Phoenix native Jalen House, big man Chris Austin, and former top 40 recruit Tayshaun Cherry. Following a season of disappointment, many would think that this mass exodus would be a death sentence for Sun Devil men's basketball. Instead, this inspired the coaching staff to put on their recruiting hat and convince Marion Jackson of Toledo, Jay Heath of Boston College, and A.J. Brahma of Robert Morris University to migrate to Tempe for next season. Combined, this trio will bring over 53 points, 19 rebounds, and 9 assists in combined production from last season to the Valley. This scrappy bunch of transfers combined with Luther Muhammad and Holland Woods should restore an underdog mentality to ASU men's basketball, an approach that has seemed to work for Bobby Hurley coached teams in the past. Only time will tell what this group will accomplish, but clearly this team will possess an identity, something it so desperately lacked in the 2021 season.
Thanks, Keith. We move on from the hardwood to the diamond. The 13th ranked Arizona State softball team has found its rhythm in conference play after a tough start against the number 2 UCLA Bruins. Inferno Intel softball reporter Dylan Pescatore joins us in studio to talk about Trisha Ford's squad. Dylan, what have the Farrington faithful seen from Sun Devil softball the past couple weeks?
Thanks, Ryan. The softball team has been on their game since getting swept by number 2 UCLA a few weekends ago, as you guys mentioned. They've won series against Washington and Utah since, also beating up on BYU in the process. However, the game that I wanted to highlight was on Tuesday night when they faced off with GCU. It was the first time ever that the Sun Devils and the Antelopes matched up, but there was even more history made. ASU put up 21 runs in this one, with every starter crossing home plate at least once, including Maddie Hackbarth when she slammed her Pac-12 leading 15th home run. After scoring only 5 in the first, the Sun Devils went on and drove in 13 runs in the second frame. That run total is tied for the most scored in one inning in Sun Devil history. ASU is sitting at 22-9 overall and will host Pac-12 rival Stanford for 4 games this weekend.
And sticking to the diamond, the first few series in Pac-12 conference play for Arizona State baseball have been a mixed bag. After losing 2 of 3 to begin the conference slate against Oregon, the Sun Devils had one of its best series of the season against Washington State. ASU's pitching was in top 4 against the Cougars, only allowing 4 runs and recording 2 shutouts in the 3-game series, a first for the Sun Devils since 2013. Last weekend against rival Arizona, though, was the exact opposite. The Sun Devils lost 3 of 4 against the Wildcats, including a midweek non-conference game on Tuesday, thanks in part to Arizona's offense running wild on ASU. The Sun Devils allowed 33 runs, including 14 in Tuesday's blowout loss. ASU will look to rebound this weekend on the road against Washington, who is coming off a series win against number 10 UCLA last weekend.
Thanks, Nick. Arizona State soccer is off to its best start since 2014 and has made program history along the way. Let's head over to soccer reporter Nick Zeller-Singh with this week's edition of Inferno Intel Headlines.
Welcome to this week's edition of Inferno Intel Headlines alongside Adam Noel. Adam, how are you doing?
Good, Nick. Happy to be here and excited to talk about some big ASU news.
Awesome. Well, let's get right into it. Arizona State women's soccer continues to shock the nation, being the 4th team in Pac-12 history to defeat USC, UCLA, and former national champ Stanford in one season. It was the first time the Sun Devils captured all 3 wins in the same season in program history. The Devils are now 2nd in the Pac-12 standings and on the bubble for a postseason tournament run.
Yeah, man, what an upset win for ASU and really a great season so far. Nicole Douglas, she's made a huge jump this season. The team itself, everybody's kind of turned into what they envisioned a few years ago, but really successful season and excited to see what they'll do in the postseason. But why don't we jump to my headline, and I'm going to pick something that a lot of people are talking about this week. That's Toledo transfer Marion Jackson announcing his commitment to ASU men's basketball next season. Jackson was the MAC Player of the Year, averaging 18.1 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 5.9 assists per game for the Rockets. He'll look to make an immediate impact for the Devils, and he looks to fill a number of voids in the backcourt. Jackson already projects to take a starting role in Bobby Hurley's lineup for next season.
That's crazy, Adam, how the Player of the Year for the MAC is now joining the pack and joining ASU's Guard U. So I want to thank you for your time coming here for Inferno Intel Headlines.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate the time.
And speaking of that ASU soccer team, I was out at Sun Devil Stadium for that historic victory against the Stanford Cardinal. Here's how it went down. After dropping their first conference game on Friday to Cal, Arizona State looked to upset Stanford and Tempe. On paper, it looked like an uphill battle against the former national champions in 97-degree weather. However, the Devils found the back of the net early when the pass was intercepted by Olivia Wynn. Wynn turned on the Jets with Jasmine Wilkinson and handed Wilkinson a one-on-one opportunity with the goalie before blasting it into the goal for an early 1-0 lead. Stanford looked to answer shortly after when midfielder Amy Sire marched into the Devils' half. After sliding past a defender, she struck the ball and forced Pescatore to make the diving save to hold the shutout. Captain Kiki Pickett also tried to penetrate the Devils' defense with a lob into the box. However, her pass was just out of the reach of her teammates, leading to a Sun Devils goal kick. ASU's Eva Van Dersen widened the gap with a free kick into the box to Douglas. Douglas tried to fire it before it got deflected 30 yards out, and Van Dersen found it and rifled a screamer over the goalie for a spectacular goal. Coach Graham Winkworth then discussed how that goal deflated the Cardinal squad.
I think it was huge. I think it deflates a team when you concede a goal like that that early, and then for us to score a second one relatively quick afterwards. I mean, what goals, by the way, special goals. For us to score two, and then the key for me at halftime was making sure we were still on the front foot. We didn't want to, even though we allow teams like Stanford to have a lot of the possession, we didn't want them to have possession deep in our half.
With 1 minute left in the game, Stanford tried to break the clean sheet. Yet, the corner kick failed off of a foul, and the Devils walked out with a 2-0 win. The Devils now will return on April 9th up in Utah to take on the Utes.
And another exciting ASU program. In 2016, the ASU women's lacrosse team was just a club sports program. Now, 5 years later, the team competes as an NCAA Division I program competing in the Pac-12 Conference. Since beginning Division I play in 2018, the team has continued to make big strides. Just alone this season, under the direction of Coach Tim McCormick, the team upset its first top 25 ranked opponent, made an appearance in the top 20 rankings, and had the best program start, currently 7-3 on the season. Making up the Sun Devil squad this season is attacker Carly Adams, who has put up a handful of goals this season, 35 to be exact, more than double what she had last season. Moving on to goaltender Berkeley Bonu, who has stopped 114 shots from entering the net, and wrapping it all up, the ever so talented attacker Carrie Clayton, who holds many program records. She has proven both key on the offensive and defensive side this season. The Sun Devils have not only performed individually, but as a team. The team currently is ranked 3rd in assists per game, 5th in scoring offense, and 6th in offensive draws in the NCAA. At the end of their season, the Sun Devils will look for a strong finish with the well-known Stanford and USC programs left to play. Back to you, Ryan.
Thanks, Connor. The lacrosse team is on fire, winning 5 of their last 6 games and look to continue that streak against 2 Pac-12 foes in Cal and Stanford next weekend. That'll do it for this episode of Inferno Intel. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to returning to the studio for our next show.
But for now, make sure you check out all of our content and coverage at infernointel.com.